Hi everyone. As always, when I speak to people, I always give viewers a warning that due to the nature of my ADHD, this could be over in 30 seconds or it could last for 5 hours. Today I wanted to bring attention to two things. Firstly, the exceptional group of professionals that are special educational needs coordinators and those school leaders and teachers who also happen to be neurodivergent. So I'm a SENDCo in an all-through school. It's an enormous, complex role, but it's also the best job in the world. If you knew me personally and you were to imagine a role that I'd be successful in, you'd probably put SENDCo at the bottom of the list. In fact, it probably wouldn't even make the list. Traditional job descriptions for SENDCos contain lots of scary things for neurodivergent folk, like must be well organised, must have excellent attention to detail, first-class timekeeping skills. Now, all of those things pose a challenge for us, particularly those of us who have a brain that is wide like mine. But this is one of the reasons why I chose to be open about my diagnosis. And at the interview for my current role, I discussed my ADHD and how it positively impacts me in my role. Firstly, let's dive into what it actually means to be a SENDCo. So we coordinate and oversee the provision of the children with SEND. We identify students with SEND, we collaborate with teachers, parents and external agencies, and we ensure that the necessary support is provided. Depending on the phase we work with, we might also be responsible for exam access arrangements. This role requires a deep understanding of lots of things, so learning difficulties, disabilities, developmental disorders, as well as we need to know all about the legislation and relevant policies. Each of the students we work with has unique needs and requires an individualised approach to their learning. So we assess those needs, suggest teaching strategies, and we provide appropriate resources to help each student reach their full potential, and this requires a deep commitment to inclusivity. So SENDCos face lots of logistical challenges. So we balance demands of administrative tasks such as paperwork and record keeping with working directly with students. So I go to lots and lots of meetings, liaise with external agencies and provide training and guidance to other members of staff. And honestly, juggling this can be very, very overwhelming, but the rewards of this job far outweigh that overwhelm. The relationships that we build with our students and families can be transformative, and I'm really not being over the top about that. They really can be, because we become trusted advocates. We provide guidance. We give the understanding. We give the reassurance. We work collaboratively with parents, and we make a crucial partnership with them to support their child's needs. But most importantly, we're an advocate. We're an advocate for the child. And the way that I always explain this is that the child is absolutely central to all the decisions that we make, but being a good advocate does not mean saying yes to everything. So sometimes there can be this perception that, your SENDCo's really soft. Your SENDCo says you can sort of do what you like. You can play with this really loud fidget toy and lesson, it's that sort of thing. But that's not what it is. We are advocating, but sometimes that means we have to say no, and we will say no to things. So the children that I work with are absolutely aware of my diagnosis, and to be fair, that would be very hard for them to miss. The decision about revealing your true self, or as I would say, taking off the mask, is a highly personal one. So my career and my life over the years has had lots of peaks and troughs, like lots of other people's do. But since I finally decided that I was going to be myself, I have become much happier. And I think this is really important in the role of the SENDCo, because that means I can openly share my experiences and empathise with everyone that I work with. Now, shall we say that over the years, there have been quite a lot of teachers and leaders that have been less than understanding towards me. and that's why finding a place where you can be you, and I mean the real you, is important. Finding the right place where you can be you and where you were championed for the person that you are, because finding that acceptance brings that inner peace and enables you to be who you are, and then make a really good job at what you're doing. I often will say in my job things like, look, I won't take the same path as you, but the outcome is going to be a good one, because we neurodivergent folk possess this unique ability to come up with innovative solutions and see possibilities that others might not see. So this is a tremendous asset for a SENDCo, because we have to develop strategies and interventions and support systems to meet the needs, the diverse needs of our students. So we can exhibit high levels of energy and enthusiasm, and we sometimes bring with us this contagious energy that can motivate and engage people, engage all the stakeholders around us. And we have this sense of passion and dedication to our work. I think being in SENDCo is a wonderful pathway to leadership, and actually many SENDCo roles are already part of SLT, but regardless of what your chosen pathway is, or what you think it is actually at the moment, it's good to know that being a SENDCo is absolutely a whole school role. I know every member of staff at my school, and you really can be a catalyst for change. Now, it is not something you can fake. You really do have to have that fire in your belly. You really have to be the voice. You have to be that person that will say, oh, okay, so you're telling me you're going to have, a live band in assembly, but what about the child X that has significant sensory needs? So you have to be that voice. You have to be able to speak up. So I have the usual issues with attention and focus, but I incorporate strategies like breaking things down into separate into steps, having clear priorities, and utilising lots of different tools for myself. And these are the things that I would suggest for students as well. SENDCos are responsible for reviewing and managing lots of complex documentation, and we have to make sure that we're abiding with regulations. Now, my ADHD brain has difficulty in sustaining attention to every detail, but because I've become more self-aware, then I can seek support from colleagues. Impulsivity is another thing that I'm very aware, and I can be very impulsive, but that does make me very good in difficult situations. When emergency situations arise, oddly, that's when I become my most calm. Again, this is where you need to build that team around you and have people around you that accept you for who you are. I do work long hours. All of us in education work long hours, and I have to switch tasks constantly, which can be quite difficult. So in one second, I might be sitting in a meeting with lots of external agencies discussing funding, and in the next, I might be doing skipping down the corridor with a child that needs a movement break. But the impact we can have on the lives of students is absolutely immeasurable. We see firsthand the growth and progress and achievements of our students, and often against seemingly insurmountable odds. And it's these moments of triumph that make all the hard work and challenges worthwhile. It is not always rosy. No job is, because we're on the front line. We experience firsthand the frustrations of parents that can be angry, upset, frustrated, and this can be hard, especially for those of us like me who are very sensitive to criticism. But the key to this is to remember it's not personal. It is actually symptomatic, without getting into the politics of it, of an education system that just isn't fit to support all of the learners that we work with. And again, sadly, like every teacher, I do have some sleepless nights and moments of high anxiety. But if we keep at our core that we're doing the best for our students with the limited resources we have, then that can only be a good thing. The SENDCo is often a hidden role, and people in schools are aware that stuff goes on behind the scenes, but it's a mystery world, and there are lots of acronyms and lots of weird sounding words. And I made a conscious decision to want to be a force to change all of that. So I am seen around school, and I do talk to everyone, because I don't want children and I don't want anyone with SEND to go unnoticed. I want to challenge the stigma that persists with SEND. It's another reason why, as teachers, revealing our diagnosis is a good step towards that acceptance. Now, if you are thinking of heading down the SEND route, please do it. Please do it, because we need you. There are three things I wanted to suggest, and they are, if SEND is a pathway you're considering, Get to know the children that you are currently teaching and teach them well. Read their documentation, plan lessons carefully for them, and try and see things from their perspective. Secondly, get to know your SEND team. They can advise you about how things work within your particular setting. Get to know everyone within your school. Reach out to the parents of your SEND children as well, and they will be glad that you've reached out to them when it's a positive thing. And thirdly, read really widely. Use social media. There is so much support out there for neurodivergent folk and for SENDCos. There is support out there. Now, really quickly, just within these 10 minutes, all I wanted to say was this is really is, and I'm not saying it, the best job. I've never regretted the decision to come into this role, and I am more than happy to answer any questions that you have. But I do hope this has given you a flavour of the life of a SENDCo, more importantly, a neurodivergent SENDCo. And thank you everyone for listening, and have a fabulous day.